Hi everyone, it's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and today I'm really delighted and excited because we get to talk about eliminating negative thoughts and feelings. Now last week we talked about how to silence the inner critic, and I want you to understand the difference between the two so that you really can be in control all the time. It is no fun to give your power away. You came here to be magnificent co-creators, and it doesn't feel good when you've assigned that role to someone that you are afraid of or who you believe is somehow superior to you in some way. You are the most influential and the most important person in your own life. You and your relationship with Source, the universe, your creator, by whatever name you want to call that presence, it is you and your creator that are the most influential in your life. So, negative thoughts are something that are going to be part of the steady stream. We have millions, perhaps billions of thoughts that go through our minds every day. Some of them will naturally be negative. Some of them will naturally be positive. And yet, both of those thoughts are completely neutral in your life until you take action. And the action that you take that can either get you in trouble or propel you forward is when you start thinking, giving your time, your focus, your attention to that thought, and then you seal the deal by adding in your life force energy. You get emotionally involved. Once you're thinking about it and you're feeling the outcome in your body, you've now begun to manifest more that is similar in nature to whatever it was that you were thinking or feeling. That's very different from the inner critic that makes an appearance that is almost as though it's a separate being from you. And I always picture my inner critic as being an older person in authority who is perpetually angry at something or someone, usually me, and always disappointed and wagging that finger. I can't believe you did that, or you're so stupid, or blah, 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 blah. Now that inner critic doesn't visit me very often anymore because I do what they tell me to do and what we learned last week in class and ways in which to fully be accountable and present so that you are available for the way you want your life to run and not just being the victim that has things happen because you don't know there's another choice. So I want you to understand how powerful you are and that the choice is always yours. You might not always make the right choice. That's okay. Get out of blame and shame. We've talked about that in another class. Just understand it's your choice. And look at every choice as beneficial because it allows you to grow. And the most wonderful thing you can do in this life is grow. The more experiences you have, the more knowledge you acquire, the more wisdom you are able to use to operate in your daily life. And the more wide open your connection to God, Source, the universe, whatever rings true to you, the bigger that connection for you, the easier your life is going to be. You and God are on the same side. God wants you to have everything, absolutely everything, to experience all the love, the joy, and the peace that you can possibly cram into one day. That we are the ones that feel unworthy and shameful and unlovable, and we create the negativity. So let's go find out how to eliminate negative thoughts and feelings. Let's begin living our lives as though every day was worth it. Let's become filled with joy. So our guides begin. Dear ones, you have a choice. Despite the fact that you live in a material world that focuses on the negative or the what's wrong, you are not required to do so. Now, we have to remember the reason that we often get fixated on the negative is because it's more dramatic than the way our lives usually are. And so it can, if we allow it, catch our attention and we can get carried away with it. So that's why you've got to be on alert. Because, yeah, the negative sometimes looks like you really should pay attention. But you don't have to. It's always your choice. Thoughts are hidden within your mind and can be closely guarded secrets. If you don't care to share them out loud, so for those of you who use the excuse, remember they were talking about the fact that we're living in a material world and everyone else focuses on the negative. So some of you have used the excuse, I don't want to swim against the tide. In this case, the tide representing the vast sea of negativity within which your world is swimming. We say, no one but you will know of your thoughts and feelings unless you care to share, so you may remain the bright light hidden beneath a veil of mystery amongst the darkness. Now, this is going to require quite a bit of self-discipline. So if you choose to be the quiet one, the one who is hiding their light, just know that you have probably not made the easiest choice. However, we must then remind you of the instructions of Jesus. Do not hide your light under a bushel. So we ask that you shine, that you find those thoughts and feelings that feel best to you, and you shine. Put all of your energy and focus into those thoughts and feelings. Allow them to consume you, to build a fire of light within you until you become a bonfire, burning bright. And then walk boldly into the darkness of night and share your light, which is the light of love, with all who wander still in the darkness and the destruction of a negative mindset. Now, they're asking a lot right there. Honestly, absolutely, they are asking a lot. But you're ready. You are so much more ready to walk into a sea of negativity and say, I see the light, than you are to sit in the corner and try to hide and be quiet while all of this negativity is battering away at you. When you come out from underneath that bushel and begin to shine brightly, first of all, the darkness drops away because you're the light in the room. And people become curious. They stop whatever they were saying or doing and begin asking you, wow, what are you doing that's different? It feels good to be around you. How can I get some of that too? So rather than fear the darkness as something that's greater than you, so therefore you've got to hide if you want to be a shining light, or if you want to be something that everyone else in the room is not, go in there boldly, because I guarantee you the darkness will shrink from your light. So, let this be your first instruction on how to overcome negative thoughts and feelings. Choice. You must choose to be responsible for what you think and feel. No matter how much of your life up until now has been spent worshiping and fearing the darkness, Now is the time to stop. First, you must ask yourself, am I ready to be responsible for what I create? And those of you who know my story know that my first answer to that question was no, and I walked away back into the darkness. Am I ready to take ownership of my thoughts and feelings? I also answered that question. No, this is all someone else's fault. Am I prepared to look at what I'm thinking and feeling and realize that that determines what I'll experience? That was so mind-blowing to me that I could not believe it. I couldn't believe any of this. It took me almost 5 years to wrap my head around the idea that I could have caused the dysfunction in my life and that I could think in a new way and get myself into a better place. I understand if you're not ready, but I want you to begin considering it. So, again, there's never a punishment for saying, I don't know. But begin considering that there is a better way, a way with less stress. If you are not yet mature enough to recognize the power you hold as creator, then you have no ability to escape from the negativity you've created for yourself. There is no greater truth than this. You cannot get out of your own way. We never can. We are the only person with ourselves for our entire life. There's no getting away from ourselves. The only thing we can do is allow ourselves to become the best version of ourselves that we can, so that our life can become a place of love, joy, and peace. Before you can begin to escape the negativity, the drama, and the endless pain, you must first assume responsibility for creating it. Now, as I said before, if you're not ready, that's okay. But let this begin to sink in. Begin playing with this thought that it could be the product of your mind. Your circumstances could be the product of your mind and not because someone else did something to you. Nothing can or will change in your life if you continue abdicating your responsibility for creating the problem in the first place. As long as it's someone else's fault, it will be someone else's opportunity to fix. You must stop saying that your thoughts are a product of society's beliefs and pull away from the crowd. What feels best to you? Remember, your thoughts and feelings can be as private as you need them to be, so you've no longer got the excuse, what would they think? And we are in a new world. We are in the world of the internet. So even if everybody around you is unable to take responsibility for what they've created, you can go on the internet and find a support group that will support you in taking responsibility and thinking positively. And then you can ask yourself, what would they think? And think about the people that are supporting you when you have a negative thought and say, oh my goodness, I can't do that. That would be letting my group down. They depend on me to be positive and to really be a shining light. It matters not what another thinks. It matters only what you think and feel. You create the world in which you reside. Those outside you do not. In time and with growth, you will come to see the unity and oneness of all beings, and you will then want to shine brightly for all the world to see as an encouragement, a beacon, a portal of desires fulfilled. However, for this moment, in this beginning step, be satisfied with holding yourself to the standard of responsibility for your own thoughts and feelings. Let's stop forgetting about what tomorrow might bring. Right here, right now, in this moment, Take responsibility for what you are saying, thinking, feeling, doing. And if it doesn't feel good, change your behavior. Not with shame and blame, not with finger pointing and the inner critic, but with love. Take yourself and give yourself a hug and say, gee, the things that you're thinking and saying and feeling are really negative. That means that we are going to experience some really negative things in our life, and that just isn't something that I would enjoy. Let's try something new, mind. Let's try something new, body. Let's try something new, emotions, spirit, thoughts. Let's see what we can create when we feel good about what we're thinking, talking about, and doing, no matter what the people around us are saying. Learn to stop letting yourself off the hook. If a negative thought is wearing a groove in your mind, it's because you're allowing it. Now that's tough talk, and I tell you, when I began, it would have made me cry. Don't cry. Instead, give yourself a big hug, wrap yourself in a blanket of pink and gold light, and realize, I needed to hear that. I needed to know that I am that powerful and that I can make a difference in my life. I don't have to sit here and be available for bad things to happen. I am not a victim. I am victorious. So how can you stop being open and available to negative thoughts if you're living in a world that's overrun with negativity? You simply make the choice to monitor your thoughts and feelings. You become a vigilant observer instead of a passive participant. Stop letting your thoughts dictate to you. You be the one who says, we will think more about this. We will not think about that. Oh, we're definitely going to think more about this fabulous feeling or thought or expansiveness. As the parade of thoughts stream through your mind, instead of anchoring onto the ones that seem the most dramatic and fearful, and I know that feeling, I grew up in that family, you must take a step back, a step away from fear, doom and gloom, and lack. Now, you gotta understand that you always have a choice no matter what other people around you are saying. You just really have to pay attention. Now that you've stepped back from fear, look for the quiet, peaceful thought. The thought that feels good and has a slight shine to it. Do not listen to the naysayers, the dream stealers, or the fear-filled ones who tell you that it's hopeless, a romantic fantasy, or childish to believe in happy endings. Grab that lone thought that speaks to joy and happiness. Reach into your heart and find a moment of peace. Put all of your time and attention on love, joy, and peace. And yes, in the beginning, it will feel as though you're fighting a battle. But as you observe, instead of participating in the incessant stampede of thoughts you encounter, you'll be able to engage with only those that feel good, and you'll begin building your faith and trust muscles. So in the beginning, something that is going to help as well is not to share with others what you're thinking. Be a little quiet. Spend a little extra time in meditation. Put a smile on your face and keep it there. If anyone asks you why you're smiling, I was just thinking wonderful thoughts. And you do not have to share. But the very act of smiling, first of all, is going to make people smile at you in return, which will again trigger you to attach to happier thoughts. But it is going to get your thoughts going in the direction of happiness, the action of smiling. The more of our body and our mind and our feelings that we engage on the same goal, the better we are at manifesting that goal. So you can't just say to yourself, okay, I won't think anything bad, and try to be blank. It's not going to work. It's too darn hard. Make it easy. Allow the spiritual work to be easy. It should be. In the beginning, because you have not practiced it and you are trying to remember something that you forgot when you came into this life journey, it will feel challenging. Don't let that deter you. Just take a deep breath and start over as many times as you need to. It will become easier as it becomes more of a habit and as you begin remembering more of the information about the energetic realm that you knew previous to coming into this lifetime. We suspend that knowledge so that we can fully experience the life challenges that we've chosen. If you knew the end before you began, you wouldn't play all out. You need to play all out to get the experience, so that's why we forget when we come in. But as you begin re-engaging with the energetic realm, you will begin remembering. However, in the very beginning, you will be fighting against the program that you had allowed to take over, and you will have to be a little stricter with yourself. That's okay. The longer you spend engaging with what sounds and feels good to you, the less time you'll be able to spend with doom and gloom and scenarios that are no more certain than the happy ending you desire. Now, let's think about this. There are so many doom and gloom people out there. Oh, the world's going to end. This terrible thing is going to happen. And they get up the next day and the sun is shining, or perhaps it's raining or snowing, but nothing has changed except perhaps the weather and the earth in position to the sun. Their life is still going on the same, but they will keep finding reasons to believe in the doom and gloom, the world is ending scenario, because they get something out of that. They get some sort of excitement, or I don't know, something for attaching to that. That doesn't mean that you have to. Notice that all of these people that are completely fixated on the world is going to end keep moving the ending date to keep you roped in. So let's say they had the world's going to end in 2000, and 2000 came, and everything kept going. Then the world is going to end, and they would pick a new date. And they keep, once the date has been reached, they make up some story about why it didn't end and why the earth has gotten an extension, and then they're off again, running down their doom and gloom conversation. It's feeding them something, and I don't know what it is. It's not going to feed you anything but hardship. So to those who point their fingers at you and say nothing ever works out, you must always be on the lookout for anything and everything that's coming to hurt you. Say nothing. Arguing with fools only makes you foolish. However, do take this as your cue to redouble your efforts to locate and concentrate on only those thoughts which are positive. The more they tell you the world is ending, the more you go positive. When you start filling your energetic field with positive thoughts and feelings, the inside and outside of you begin to brighten. The atmosphere around you begins to shimmer with the pure essence of you, and people will be drawn to that light. Those that spend their days in the darkness of fear may try to warn you away from shining brightly. Shine brighter. Don't allow their fear of the what if to take away from your what is. You're already doing the thing they are afraid of, and you are prospering. Please don't go backward into their fear. Every part of your being will shine as you grow closer to the light within. This light cannot be contained, nor should it be. It can do no harm to yourself or others, for it is only the Creator's love for you being made evident to you and to those around you. And believe me, the Creator does not love only you. Every single person on this planet is special and loved. They may not know that. They may not be open to that connection, and therefore they may not be shining as brightly as you are, but they are loved equally. The way to eliminate your negative thoughts is to refuse to entertain them in your own mind, in your conversation with others, and in your daily dealings with the world you inhabit. You have to be on the lookout for the good. See only good, and your world will become good. See only bad, and you will soon be consumed by the darkness and the failure of all of your endeavors. And I tell you from someone who used to see or be on the lookout for the next bad thing, there is a ceiling. I could accomplish anything I set my mind to. I said I wanted to write a book and publish it. I did. But there will be a ceiling that your negativity will not allow you to move beyond. So I didn't say, oh, I want the book to be successful. It wasn't. It was well received by the few people that read it, but it never went anywhere because my negativity demanded that not happen. I didn't know anything about this. I was lost in my own darkness, and you can only go so far in the dark before you bump into a wall. And that's what used to happen to me. I could accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish, but I would always run into a wall, and then I would say, oh, well, I guess that's as far as I can go with that project. And that would be the end, and then I would have to start over again. So constantly accomplishing a new thing, but never able to do anything with it. Very frustrating and very much making me want to be even more negative. So living this way is delightful. The way out of negativity and into the peaceful place of joy is not hard work and endless action. That was my answer. Oh, I'm just not working hard enough, and I'm not doing enough. Let me just get busier doing stupid things that will never go anywhere because my mindset is wrong. It is to, if you want to get out of negativity, you must become the master of your thoughts and feelings. What do you allow to germinate and bear fruit? What do you rip out by the roots as you refuse it entry? You are the gatekeeper in your own life. You can say no thank you. You decide. No one and nothing but you make the final decision. But we implore you to choose the light. Choose the thoughts and feelings that feel good and tend to them lovingly. Don't let that inner critic back in. Close and bar the door on your inner critic. Do not allow the garden of your mind to become choked with weeds. Instead, fertilize the flowers which make you smile, that bring you joy and lift your heart. Be absolute fan of positive thoughts. Do not fear that you'll be overrun with negativity if you look at only what's positive. Instead, know the laws of the universe are absolute. The law of attraction demands that what you magnify with your attention and your feelings of acceptance is all that will return to your awareness. It cannot be otherwise. You only receive what you focus on. You will be exposed to a wide stream of thoughts, but they will just go streaming by with no effect. It is only what you focus on that becomes a part of your experience. It cannot be otherwise. Hold on to only that which uplifts you and simply let go of all lower thoughts. That which you lay claim to with your attention will lay claim to you with its appearance as your life experiences. If you don't want it, don't think about it. It's as easy as that. In the beginning, not so easy because you're not used to having to control or even know that it's possible to control your thoughts. But just like you're beginning a new physical workout routine, be committed and disciplined in your mindful activities. But let's make it easy on ourselves. Everybody hates the word discipline. I get it. We don't want to be so unyielding and unloving to ourselves if discipline doesn't feel like a nice word to you. So instead, decorate your entire house with uplifting notes about how wonderful you are. Spend time in the mirror telling yourself how beautiful you are, how much you love yourself, how really important you are to yourself. And you may need to, in the beginning, record a little message to yourself on your phone and play it over and over and over again that says, I think you're amazing. You are really fantastic. Look at how far you've come. Look at all that you've accomplished. I'm so proud of you. You are doing great. And yes, there will be times when those negative thoughts take over. As soon as you realize it, you say to yourself, not, oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Look what you did. You were thinking all these negative thoughts. Oh my gosh. No. Nobody is going to flourish in that kind of attitude. I know, because that was me. No, instead you say, wow, look at you. Look how quickly you recognized and corrected your negative behavior. You are so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Look at all that you've been able to do. Look how quickly you're remembering to move toward a positive thought. What kind of a reward can I give you for being so brilliant? When I was teaching, I would never say to my kids who already were below grade level, oh, you're so stupid. But that was what I would tell myself day in and day out. Never once would that word leave my mouth to go to those kids, and they not only got on grade level, many of them surpassed that grade level and were working above grade level. From below, they went to above because I built them up and encouraged them to build themselves up so that they saw themselves as truly brilliant and became so. But I, on the other hand, kept cutting my own self down and making myself weaker and weaker and weaker, as I was not applying my good works to myself Don't do that, please. Start with yourself first. Build yourself up. And you will naturally shine and flow onto all others. It is never selfish to put yourself first. There is only one you, and we need you. This world needs your beautiful shining light. Build yourself up, and you will automatically help others build themselves up. Encourage them to build themselves up, and we will soon become a planet filled with people who are overflowing with love, joy, and peace instead of fear and hostility and the desire to create such destruction that they would go into a school or a nightclub or any public place and start shooting. We must change the dialogue, beginning with ourselves, from "you are so stupid" to "you are so brilliant and beautiful," because that is true. That's all that's true. Remember, just because the world has chosen to take a negative viewpoint, it doesn't mean that you have to. Your positive outlook might not be supported by your friends. Even your family may say to you, "Oh my gosh, you're such a Pollyanna." Just don't adjust your outlook in a negative or downward fashion in order to fit in with other people. You're bigger than that, you're better than that, and you deserve more. And believe me, when they finally realize what you're doing for them, they'll get on the bandwagon and be so thrilled. And maybe they will actually say thank you to you for holding out and being that bright light. Don't wait for that. Do it anyway. But maybe they will. And remember, we always reap what we sow. So make sure you're thinking in a way that will support your life. Positive thinking will bring positive results. Now, little caveat on that. If you have spent 20 years thinking about negative situations, and lately you have totally embroiled yourself in this thing that you're saying, "Oh, I hope that my car doesn't get a flat tire. Oh, please don't get a flat tire. Oh my gosh, if I got a flat tire." If you've been going on this for about 2 weeks, for whatever reason, and you suddenly decide, "Oh, I'm going to think positively," you may have already contributed so much to the manifestation of the flat tire that it happens anyway. That was not a failure on your part. We have to recognize sometimes you just have to let the energy out there play out if it's already too fully manifested. So if you were to get the flat tire, then you have the opportunity to become positive in a different direction. "Oh my goodness, I wonder what wonderful thing I will gain from having this flat tire experience. Perhaps it's a new friend. Perhaps I will have missed being in an accident because my car wasn't on the road." You can transform it into a positive. Or you can keep haranguing, "Oh my gosh, look what I'm going to be late for work. I'll lose my job." Whichever way you want to spin it will become your reality. Please spin toward the positive. It is so much more delightful to be positive than to be negative. And I speak from experience. Lots of experience. Now, remember too, you can't be an occasional positive thinker. You can't, life is wonderful, and then you turn around and say, "I hate everybody, I hate this world, I hate my job, I hate my family, I hate my neighbors." that is not going to bring you the results that you want. You'll get a little bit, because spending some positive time is better than none. So you'll get a little bit of good things going your way because of that, but you're still predominantly negative. So you're going to manifest into your life your dominant vibration. Will you ever say a negative thing? Yes, you will. Sure you will. Or if you're negative, will you ever say a positive thing? Absolutely. It's the dominant vibration that we end up manifesting from. It's the one with more power. So maintain the positive attitude no matter what's happening around you. Yes, in the beginning, it's a little tough. It's like walking into the gym after you've been a couch potato for 5 years. It's a little tough. You're going to have to put some extra effort in. Challenging circumstances can and will still occur. It's part of your life journey. These are the things that you chose to experience. It's your reaction that determines how they affect you. The first way to eliminate your thoughts and feelings, though, will always be choice. No one can take that away from you, no matter how incredibly horrible the physical surroundings are or your present physical experience. You can still choose to be joyful and happy and find something good about that experience. Nelson Mandela was, I think, in my mind, the most incredible individual that I have ever shared a planet with. There he is imprisoned because he shared differing beliefs with the people that were in power, different political beliefs. So he never even did anything that would be considered a crime against society, stealing or murdering or cheating. He didn't do anything that would require him going to prison. He just held opposing political views. And I believe he spent 20 years in prison for that. And during that time, of course, he began quite bitter. And during that time, he overcame his bitterness and began to feel pity for his captors because, as he said, he was freer than they were because he was not confined to that small place where they had locked him up. His spirit was free to roam and to connect with the energetic realm at any time. He felt free. He felt liberated and uplifted. He was victorious. And he looked at the guards and he felt sorry for them. He saw them as the true victims, as the people that really were locked in a world of pain and confusion. And he was the one that was free. Now that's how to use a positive attitude over negative circumstances. He chose to be responsible for what he was thinking and feeling. The only way to escape the negativity you've caused yourself is to be responsible. Again, he could have said, I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was be very vocal against the regime that was in power. Oh, poor me. Look at this horrible thing they've done. Instead, he chose to overcome his bitterness, to go beyond it, to go so far beyond it that he was more free while he was incarcerated than his guards were while they were indeed physically free. But nothing can change until you accept responsibility. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. They can choose their doom and gloom. You just have to remember not to join them. You can sit right next to them, and they can spout doom and gloom all day. I just want you to be in your meadow of wildflowers and running wild and free and happy. Let your inner child have a picnic in a grove of wildflowers and be happy. If a negative thought is repeating itself in your mind, then you're allowing it. Now, as I told you before, when I first heard that I was responsible, it did not sit well with me. I didn't like that information. However, the only way out is to be responsible. Otherwise, you have to remain a victim and someone else can control your life. The second way to overcome negativity is to be the vigilant observer. Don't just la through your life. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just along for the ride. Step outside. What's going on in there? What am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I seeing? What am I saying? If you feel negativity trying to well up, or drama, or you see yourself trying to get attached to a fear or something that popped up out of the ordinary, take a deep breath, relax, give yourself a minute to compose yourself, and then ask yourself, would I like to experience this in my life? If the answer is no, you realize you're going to have to pick a thought that will support you. Step back and watch. Wait patiently for the peaceful thought. That thought that will feel good, and run in giving it all of your time and attention. The most wonderful surprise, the thing that I did not anticipate when I started this, after I came kicking and screaming, no, it's not my fault, it's them. The wonderful surprise that came true for me is that the longer that I spent concentrated on what's right and what felt good and what brought me joy, I suddenly realized, hey, I don't even have to think about it anymore. I automatically go to this just by putting some hard work in the beginning and being really focused. It has now become my operating program. If somebody talks about doom and gloom, it'll catch my attention. It's so far from what I usually hear or pay attention to, my ears will perk up. But then I automatically ask myself, oh, do I want to experience that? I don't think so. Okay, back to my positive, happy outlook that feels good. And remember, you don't have to support or defend your position. I love that they said, when you argue with a fool, you're the one that becomes foolish. Just don't say anything. Arguing with a fool is just going to make you crazy, and you will come out feeling foolish. Filling yourself with positive thought allows you to lighten and brighten from the inside out, and no one can take from you that which is inside you. They can steal your purse, they can steal your wallet, they can steal your shoes, your car, your whatever. They cannot steal from you what is inside you. Fear creates darkness, and that can also be inside you. So I want you to spend this next week really concentrating on, what do I have right now in my life that feels good? And if you have to get as basic as, well, there's sunshine on my shoulder, do it. There's food in my belly. Start somewhere that is solid, that you can hold on to, so that you can progress forward. And also, use your tools. Write out a list. Write reminder cards and put them all around your house. Put a note on your phone. Make it easy. You are overcoming a habit. That means that this is something that you have practiced for a long time. If you've been negative for 20, 30 years, that's a long time. So make it easy. Give yourself prompts. A note on your phone, a note in your purse, in your wallet, on your bathroom mirror, on your computer. Remind yourself until it becomes second nature. Always make it easy as you can. Because when you look toward the light, you're paying attention to your what is. When you're really paying attention to your life, you'll see much more of it. That's right. It's so weird for that thing to pop up that is wrong that it immediately catches our attention. Not because it's a bad thing, so much as it's different from the way our lives usually run. But we get so caught up in la la la, we're going along and everything is great, it feels wonderful, and we're used to things just, the sun is shining, the morning comes, the evening comes, things happen in order and in sequence, and boom, something pops up unexpectedly. And if we're not paying attention, we can really get fixated on it, not because we fear it at first, but because it's the unusual. And then, if we've been practicing a negative mindset, we can start attaching unrelated fears to this different experience. So just get filled up with positive so that even when the unexpected comes, you can find a way or something good about it that will make it just a little blip on the radar. The wrong is always the unusual. And it's not even necessarily bad. It's just a growth opportunity. So remember to refuse to entertain negativity in your conversations as well. If you have a friend who loves to tell you everything that's wrong in their life, ask them to take a breath, and while they're taking that breath, change the conversation. You cannot sit there and listen to, and ooh, poor me, and be unaffected unless you are really, really, really solid in your positive thinking. The other thing is, you might not be able to have a conversation with that friend if they're really hooked on being negative. Now, hang on, let me get a drink. One thing that I have said to people is, especially in the beginning, I'm really working hard on maintaining a positive attitude, so I need to talk about something positive. I really respect that you're having a hard time, but I've got to talk about something positive. What good thing happened in your life? And it really helped the person in the conversation. I don't think I was quite that forthright, but, more joking to take the edge off of it. But it really helped the other person too. They didn't realize they were on such a nonstop runaway train of negativity. And together we would start looking at anything good that was happening. And sometimes they would say, I can't think of anything. Do you have anything positive going on? Be prepared that they're going to turn the table on you and have your positive thoughts ready. And also, it's really nice to have something positive you can say about the other person. Help them out of that canyon they might have gotten caught in. You always make the final decision about the thoughts that you hold in your mind, but you can be sort of like the cue card for another person about the thoughts that they may be holding in their mind. So law of attraction tells us Your attention magnifies your attraction. So, if you want to attract something and it's really important to you, get positive about that thing. I don't want to hear you tell me later, I really put all of my effort in and it didn't materialize, so law of attraction is a hoax. No, because you've also been taught that you do not just say, oh, I want a red house, and I only want a red house, and that's the only house that I'll have. And, oh my goodness, I can see myself living in a red house, and isn't it so wonderful? My own red house. And then there are no red houses, and so you can't get a red house, and you feel badly. Remember, I have taught you, you allow yourself to choose a goal or something that you think you desire. But it is much more beneficial if you will say, I want this or something better, whatever is for my highest good. Please allow God to choose for you. You do not have that unlimited vision, and they do. So please allow Source, infinite intelligence, to make the final decision. Get specific so your mind has a focal point and you don't go off in all the crazy directions. But allow it to be open-ended, that the house that comes to you may not be red. You might have to paint it red, but it will be the perfect house for you, and it will be exactly what you need at that time. Even if it feels wrong, if you have allowed it to be for your highest good, it will be exactly what you need. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter will be perfect if you allow it to be. And growth is so much easier when we allow instead of actively reject. You know, if we've got our, I don't want to see, we're trying to cover our eyes, we might walk into a wall and really crack our head open. If we allow our eyes to be wide open and we say, okay, in my opinion, this doesn't look so great, but I'm just going to flow with it and allow it to be for my highest good. I will find the positive within this situation. I guarantee you it will work out quickly and to your benefit. But you have to stay in that high place. You can't go down and spend time being a victim and wonder why things are getting worse. Stay in your positive thoughts. So, we've only got a few minutes left. I talked and talked and talked. Star 2, anybody who has a question or wants to share perhaps a situation that you're in that you're having a hard time seeing the positive benefit in the situation. I would love to help you see it, not because I'm smarter than you are or better than you are or anything more than you are, because I have something that you don't have, and it's the same thing that God has when we ask them for help. I have a different perspective than you do. You're in your own situation within your own forest, and you can only see your own trees. I'm not in that forest. So I may be able to see something that you are not yet able to perceive and help you find the positive. Star 2, if you have a question. Okay, I'm going to give you one last story and then we got to go. In my early 20s, I guess middle 20s, because I had graduated from college. So in my middle 20s, I was getting my master's degree, and I came across a group of people in a program called Silva Mind Control. I think I found the program first, and then this was like a support group, so that probably makes sense, the program first. And I loved everything about this program, except the name. I was weirded out by the name Mind Control. And all I could think was somebody was brainwashing me and taking control of my mind. I was such a neophyte, so new to this whole thought process that it never occurred to me that what they were saying with this extremely brilliant program designed by Jose Silva was that you could take control over your own mind. You could tell yourself something to do and actually be capable of doing it. So they gave us a whole bunch of different exercises within the program. And it was things like, setting an internal alarm clock and different healing things that you could command your body and your mind to do, and all these different exercises. And I loved them. I loved that program. But it just weirded me out that because I was still seeing it from the outside in. He was an outside instructor. These were outside instructions that I was learning, and I had to bring them in and work on them in my mind. And I got this weird attachment that if we could do this, then brainwashing would be possible. I really wasn't seeing the big picture. Obviously, if I could train my mind to do these specific exercises, and I did them very well, so I knew that they were possible, and the other people in my group were successful and did them very well, I knew this was highly possible. Well, obviously, I could train myself to be impenetrable to other people's thoughts, feelings, and brainwashing, but I didn't put the two together. So, for a short period of time, a couple of years, and a couple of really good roommates, female roommates, we all kind of worked on this together, and I had that support group. And then, for some reason, the support group fell apart. And I began to revert back to my old behavior, because this Silva mind control class was something that I would put on. It was not a lifestyle. I had not understood that I needed to really change who I was and the way I was viewing things. So I would just become this person who could control their mind while I was doing the particular activities that I wanted to do, that he had instructed us how to do. But the rest of the time, it was just a free-for-all. I could be negative, and I could be anything I wanted to be, except disciplined and in control of my own mind. So it made me absolutely crazy, and I didn't understand the power that had been given to me by learning how to take control of my mind. And so, of course, I threw the whole thing away. And then, fast forward, almost 20 years of searching and heartache and disappointment and discouragement. And that was the period when, somewhere in there, when I did a Bible correspondence course by mail. There was no internet in those days, guys. And, oh my gosh, because I had not done the work to discipline my mind, I became so filled with shame and blame and guilt, and look what I've done in my life and to my children, and the disgrace and all blah, 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 and God could never accept this kind of a being, on and on and on. And if there was anything of value in that class, I would immediately dismiss it. If anything telling me that I was worthy, find a way to be the bad sinner so that I could mope along in my victimhood for a little bit longer. I wasn't ready to take responsibility for where I was until I had allowed things to get so bad that there was just really no further that I could go. And finally, I happened along material that was calling to me and yet calling me out and saying, you're done. You're done being a victim, being pitiful, and being pretending you're not powerful. You created this mess and you can uncreate it. And I believe it was a book, one of the Abraham Hicks books, that first introduced that to me. And it was at least another 5 years before I could own that. I took other classes that began building me up, that were baby steps toward that thought, and more and more effort went in classes and research and books, every book out of the library, every book I could get my hands on, every class and course and anything that would help me understand. But it was years and years and years because I didn't take responsibility. That's why I am so, so committed to helping you understand how powerful you are. Because I gotta tell you, being responsible is so much better than the alternative. So, if you need help, if you are feeling lost and confused, especially, I have decided that my private practice is now going to be really focused on helping those who need to recover from the pain and trauma of sexual harassment or abuse. Almost all of the people that I see have that somewhere in their background, so I really want to focus on that because I am so privileged that I work with the most amazing people in the world. And I want to make sure that if you were the victim of sexual abuse, that you get the support and the help that you need. So message me at Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. That's my website, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. And I offer a 30-minute consultation where we will look at what's going on and how you can become victorious. We want you to move from victim to victorious. Yes, we all begin victims. We just don't have to stay there. So, star 2, one last chance. We're over our time already, but just in case. All right, everybody. Again, it's Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. Please go on my website. I have wonderful courses there, different ways for you to interact with me and to get the help that you need. Until next Wednesday, I'm sending you all my love.